What is good, Cardano fam, ADA gang? We have lots of exciting updates to unpack today. World Mobile Token, former NFL legend tweets about Snek, tons of new FUD that's also been responded to and slammed by the Cardano community. And stick around to the end of the video, Midnight Network CEO goes over tons of new alpha regarding the upcoming airdrop. So hit that subscribe, hit that like. Cardano ADA Network successfully completed 30,000 transactions in the last 24 hours, and DEX daily volume surpasses 6 million ADA. NFT daily volume surpasses 250,000 ADA. And World Mobile, guys, they are delighted to announce the launch of their new regional and country eSIMs. With their new eSIMs, you can travel the world, remain connected with affordable plans in over 50 countries, and avoid surprise roaming charges. I really love their branding. These graphics are just incredible. Choose your package. Choose between our country-specific eSIMs covering over 50 countries or our regional and global eSIMs. Packages vary from 14 to 90 days with data options up to 10 gigabytes. I love the national options, global options, and I think I'm going to try this out, guys. I'm traveling in, a month or so to the United States, so I'm going to test this out over in the South, see if it's any good. Let you guys know. It seems pretty simple, and I love their branding, their infographics. The design that these guys do, guys, this is a still underrated gem, World Mobile. And I can just tell just from the way they roll with the branding. Someone who takes a look at the branding, the website, the graphics, it has meticulous design, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of World Mobile, I was, there was a fork in the road. I love render so much. You guys keep hearing me say render, right? When I talk about Dedium. And by the way, Dedium, I tested out Leonardo AI. It's a pretty good tool. But back to this poll. It's a nice poll, so make sure you guys participate. Links to everything's in the description. And I voted for World Mobile. And again, it's a further proof that the community is strong because, we got Helium in there, right? So Helium already has a strong community. So again, Cardano has a super strong community. And the keys, guys, Genesis keys get destroyed next week. Regarding this, a great reply by Cardano Yoda. There was a question saying, so after this is done, those founding entities can throw their keys out as they will stop working? Never seen or heard anybody explain this. Yoda said, good question, keys will stop working. The question is whether it will be true after the Chang Hard Fork or after the Constitution is approved, 2024/2025. But the Genesis keys will stop working one day nonetheless. It is going to happen soon. On Friday, August 23rd, the final decision on whether to trigger the Chang Hard Fork will be made. If so, the three founding entities will sign the transaction for the Hard Fork Combinator. The Chang upgrade will be activated at the transition between epochs on Tuesday, August 27th. So August 27th is pretty much like the super important date. And be careful of scams, guys. I'm sure that as we approach a lot of this stuff, Midnight Airdrop around the corner, be careful with like YouTube scams, be careful with like Twitter ads and whatnot. Always be extra diligent. There's always going to be bad actors trying to take advantage of times where people have their barriers a little bit lower. Speaking of barriers and breaking news. So NFL, it's not so much breaking news. This guy's already into crypto. NFL legend Antonio Brown tweets picture of Snek. So however you feel about these guys, I know sometimes some of these figures can be polarizing. At the end of the day, we're just reporting on positive sentiment, especially when people give some shout outs. So he put a tweet out less than 24 hours ago with Snek, got a lot of exposure on there, so good stuff. And I looked a little bit more into his posts. It looks like he's kind of in the Doginals and like kind of probably doing some stuff with like Ordinal stuff or maybe some Solana stuff, meme coin stuff. I see some overlap with the communities. And who knows, there's probably a lot of people, celebrities, people already publicly talking about Cardano that may be having some conversations behind the scenes, mutual friends and whatnot. You never know. This was a fantastic update to see from Finest. Finest, of course, RWAs, Europe compliance, 100% compliance. And they started with the Granite. They're going to be bringing a lot of stuff. Last week, they launched tokenized Granite on Finest. What a milestone. We're celebrating by working on the next steps. Better user interface. I like that. You know, guys, how much I like UX, UI. Easier to understand and more detailed info. FAQs. More top-up functionalities. Legal setup for tokenizing securities. Guys, even something as simple as this, just like knowing what you're dealing with. How does this work? How does that work? It's all about clarity. It's all about like making sure that we deliver the best service, the best products, And that's part of also why I'm bullish on Cardano. So now, guys, it's time for a nosedive into the circus. You know, we try to avoid the circus, but sometimes we got to call out the bullies against Cardano, who pretty much diminished the good work. Charles says, so Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, when are we going to the secret cult meetings? I never got the memo from Raoul. So Raoul, again, in classic fashion, he's getting desperate for one reason or another. He decided to slam not only Cardano, but XRP. And a lot of people were responding. I responded, but let's check the original clip. And then I'll give you my response.
It's like from 2 bull markets ago. You might be right. You might love it forever. Just please move to whatever the strong momentum is. I know there's that fear in your head is this time it'll be the big one. You'll get plenty of notification, you get back in, but don't miss the bull market because you're in a narrative of past. And the communities are huge. And I don't want to get attacked by people online for this, but I just feel like you're being done a disservice by being in a cult. Our job is to be mercenaries. We're in the job to make money, not to be a cult. Cults don't make money except for the leaders. So I know it hurts people when I say this. Cardano, XRP, there's a whole bunch of these. I really hope you're right, but hope is not an investment. XRP.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre one. I think he does an appeal to intelligence fallacy. What a bozo. Guys, I just have to be clear cut and not waste anyone's time. This is bozo type B, bozo inu. And the reason why it's bozo inu is that every single project, from Bitcoin all the way down, if Cardano is a cult, then what is Bitcoin? If Cardano is a cult, what is Doge? Does this guy even understand like memeonomics? Mog? Does he even understand the words that are coming out of his mouth? In a moment, we'll expose him. But the thing is that I don't mind people being agnostic with their choices. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cardano's not my only holding. It's my largest holding. It's not my only one. Why can't we celebrate positive news of other chains rather than being divisive like a this or that and bundling them all together, gross generalization? Because, guys, Ripple CEO, speaking of Ripple, however you feel about him, called for Cardano ETF around the corner. CFTC said 70-80% give or take of cryptocurrencies are not a security. We're already leading with the gold standard, so to speak, that Cardano Foundation referred to as for MiCA compliance, and the list goes on and on. Burning of the Genesis keys, decentralization factors. So hearing from a clown like this, and he says there's been two bull markets, like, yeah, there have, and on both occasions we hit all-time highs. And when he says something like this, what are the ulterior motives? I really don't care. But don't put Cardano in your mouth when you're doing stuff like this, saying that Terra is risk-free, you know, kind of skirting away from the risks of UST, or what is referred to now as USTC. We'll see that clip in just a moment. So it's very bizarre because at the end of the day, every project has branding, community. He said go where the momentum is. And there is momentum in said projects. What happened to the momentum in the projects that he spoke openly about, like Luna and many others? Yeah, so at the end of the day, I really don't understand the reasoning behind this. Is very bizarre. Is very bizarre. So then what about the Ethereum cult, the Bitcoin cult, the insert, you know, whatever redacted network? Like it's just logically stupid, guys. I don't even know how else to explain it. 1 + 1 = 2. So I wrote here fun facts. Raoul Paul said Terra is basically risk-free in 2021. In 2022, Bankless said it's not clear that USTC will fail. Raoul reaffirmed, hey, there's only $3 billion to liquidate, kind of like undermining the risk of the DPEG. At that time, DPEG just was beginning to tumble down. Bankless then asked, it's not massive systemic risk? Raoul said no, and then kind of saying, I don't know. You gotta love these KOLs for saying I don't know, right?
Stuff like Terra Network, you can just put money, stake the network and get 20%.
You could have also staked on Cardano, where it stays in your wallet. And with the Midnight Network, we're going to get into that alpha in a moment. You can get dual rewards on a participating SBO that's producing blocks. Or you can listen to this.
And they're basically risk-free.
What would happen if Terra had and UST had kind of a meltdown moment. Some people are very fearful of a massive meltdown. It's not clear that UST will kind of fail.
But there's only $3 billion to liquidate.
But there's only 3 billion, and there's kind of a divide. There's kind of an interesting. Do kind of common people attract each other? I mean, just FYI, if you guys have been sleeping under a rock, these two bozos also slammed Charles of like, hey, Charles, you want to come on? Is it a ghost chain? I mean, guys, like, I understand the optimism behind UST and not hoping that it has cascading effects into the rest of the industry. But when you defend so strongly with conviction these projects or what will happen, don't be slamming a project that has been transparent, DDoS resilient, that has been doing quite good. And mind you, guys, in the top 15 for what's going to be coming on 8 years very soon.
So that's it. It's just another big whale market participant, $3 billion. It's not massively systemic risk to the crypto system or to DeFi in your mind.
No, I mean, does this change the anchor protocol? I don't know what the knock-on effects are. It's a very complicated ecosystem, Terra, so I don't really know it inside out.
Now, this is not to like target him. I want to be very clear. I don't like hate any of these individuals, but if someone says something, every now and then, rarely, we're gonna have to stand our ground and like defend the network because it's just absurd, right? And all we have to do is contrast what they've said in the past, right? We all make mistakes, we all slip, but it's like, if you want to do your thing and be chain agnostic, then don't go be slamming with FUD, and it's just ridiculous, especially with someone like, guys, like, I've called out different networks, but when we come back to Brad Garlinghouse, I mean, like, I've said some good, I've said some bad. It's good to be civil discourse. Like, it's good to have constructive criticism, objective stuff. Two things can be true. So the work done by Ripple, this is his thank you. This is the thank you. This is what this bozo has to say, and no offense, but when Brad Garlinghouse with Ripple fights the SEC and arguably gets a resounding victory of like a 94% plus, I believe, penalty reduction, and is a great win for the rest of the industry, Brad himself saying that, this is what you have to say?
Stuff like Terra Network, you can just put money, stake the network and get 20%. And they're basically risk-free.
So, and it gets a little worse than that. Here we go, those finishing touches.
Ecosystem, Terra, so I don't really know it inside out.
Do Kwon just tweeted out, deploying more capital, steady lads.
I just interviewed Do this morning, by the way.
It feels like I'm seeing like a very happy boy here. Right? So the morning of, he interviewed Do Kwon before getting on this bank list. And then here you're going to see polarizing tweets where, because there was that guy who spent $500,000 in Luna just because of a tweet, a reply, which no one should do. Just because someone says, hey, I think this is a good project, we are always responsible for our actions. It's funny how crypto bros want 1000x, but then when it goes down, they want 1-800-Costco. We have to tolerate it. But, we need a little bit of consistency here. So this was the reply. Of the larger ones, Solana, Luna, Terra Luna, right, which is GG no re. Currently, the stablecoin for Terra Luna is still down minus a 98.6%. It's like 0.01. It's not even 2 pennies. So yeah, I feel like there is not a level of accountability. And this is actually why we founded Angu Crypto, guys, was that garbage like this. Bankless is, okay, not Bankless, another guy. We're going to see another bozo in just a moment, Justin Bonds. But like, these guys could block me and I don't care, because like, you guys are just slamming my favorite network with stupid, like, dumb character insult BS. And we saw how Charles has done good. Even Brad has done so much good. And so bozos like this need to be called out for. So he can be excited about his Do Kwon interview.
This morning, by the way.
I just interviewed Joe this.
All right, so response from Cardano Yoda. Raoul is in crypto for money. Raoul does not care about our future or decentralization. Do not forget that he's a professional investor. He always bought before he speaks. I think Yoda kept it very clear and simple. And yes, guys, everyone's going to have their, incentives one way or another. If he did care about decentralization, he'd at least give thanks to Cardano and the work of other networks and be solution oriented. But that's most of it. We're out of that. Let's talk about some of the interesting stuff that I think need a little bit of attention. Super bullish on Omen. and Omni, their token on Cardano, and we're soon expanding to Bitcoin with a new 10K collection. The reason why I'm talking about this is that I like this comment. I still see people spreading fake news that we're leaving Cardano. That's total BS. Not sure why these clowns think that. So guys, just a reminder, I've talked about Omen in the past, how they have such a beautiful, fantastical, whimsical, Azuki-esque, like amazing art. Their website was next level, very unique story. So it really has that amazing community aspect to it. And I like the efforts that they're doing to bring on more value in the ordinal space Bitcoin, because it's good. It's a win-win. We can bring value to both networks. So I think there's some benefit there. So just keep that in mind, that Omen is not, you might not be seeing a lot of Cardano posts. It doesn't mean they've abandoned Cardano. There's not a single argument, says AJ, that can convince me that Cardano is dead. Not Raoul, not this, not that, not the trolls in the comments. Trolls need to troll harder. Y'all should see on Twitter. Make sure you follow on Twitter. I'll always be bullish on ADA. So I was like, yes, that's Chad right there. Last time everyone said Cardano was dead, ADA did a 100x. Don't fade the third largest community in crypto with great tech and momentum. Raoul Paul, speaking of Raoul, he said momentum. That's been building for years. These are the same people who fed you Luna, Celsius, and FTX. Speaking of momentum, there's a clip. I didn't have it, but I've seen the clip. And in the clip, he was saying, Raoul, that Terra Luna had a network effect like Ethereum. But you can see, no, I mean, and it's gone. It's like dissolved. I don't even know what that project's doing now. Jason responded to the bullishness from Big Pay. Exactly. When every Cardano hater is a soul bull that favors greed over integrity. And that's the thing, guys. This is why I like a lot of the Cardano guys, is integrity is very refreshing. And you can't really put a price on certain stuff like that. And there's many projects I've said no to because I love the Angry Crypto fam, and we can still make money while retaining integrity. I don't think it's mutually exclusive, you know what I'm saying? And I think we see a lot of people do that. So, yeah. Cardano has access to scaling solutions that are infeasible on other architectures. Let me repeat that. Access to scaling solutions that are infeasible or impossible on other blockchains. So there was a long rebuttal done by Zexon. And yeah, y'all can see this. Yeah, like, is there a point? Not even. There's no point unblocking that guy, bro. There's no point unblocking this guy. It's like a chat GBT bot, like just yapper. So like at the end of the day, block button has more utility than most cryptocurrencies in this space. So, but if you guys want to read this in more detail, I don't want to bore you. It's a nice long rebuttal, but in classic fashion. You know that usually if people have that mindset like Raoul Paul, it's just going to be an emotional retaliation rather than an objective, logical, sensible thing. Midnight Airdrop. So this is a fantastic video. Big shout out to Big Pay for doing a great video, which is like about 9 minutes long. And I wrote down some keynotes, kept re-listening to it for you guys just to save time. At Rare Evo, he interviewed the CEO of Midnight. Yes, they have CEO. I asked for a general update and asked about the airdrop for ADA holders. He believes, Big Pay, that ETH and BTC holders will also get an airdrop, so they may be able to participate also. So I took down some notes, and I haven't revealed it on Twitter yet, so you guys get some, special alpha network notes. So to anyone who's new, of course, we know Midnight's into data protection. It's the data protection blockchain. DevNet launched November of 2023. There was over 2,000 applications in testing. Real-world assets, identity, defense, ESG, KYC, gaming utilities, the CEO named. It's a layer 1 partnered with Cardano for launch. It's the blockchain that can quote-unquote keep a secret and provide proofs using zero knowledge. Various use cases he mentioned: information, commercial, medical records, voting applications, private, public. And Cardano SPOs, I'm sure you guys are going to love this. This is the exciting stuff. Cardano SPOs can sign up to produce blocks for Midnight. They're already working with SPOs, testing it out. Testnet's going to come in a couple of weeks, the CEO said. Mainnet early 2025. Guys, what have we been saying about price? Like at this point, we got to look back when everything's pumping. It just write down some like Shrek book or something, He said Mainnet early 2025. Roadmap's mostly built. Delegators can get Midnight rewards in addition to Cardano on SPOs part of the Midnight ecosystem. So, like stakers, delegators can get dual rewards, ADA and Midnight's token, in conjunction with SPOs that are participating. Now, other, and I put redacted because we don't know. Maybe it's a Bitcoin, maybe it's Ethereum, maybe it's Doge. I don't know the exact. But other blockchains may also be able to participate. The CEO was emphasizing multi-chain, but also emphasizing the ease of deployment and how there's going to be multiple ways of making the development super easy and super seamless. So more airdrop details we're going to see in the near future. I think in a couple weeks, we may even see more details about snapshots and details. Most speculation is going around an upcoming snapshot, but we're waiting for those concrete details. And then more token details, we're going to get more stuff like that in the coming weeks. I think what we're going to see is probably month of September. We're going to see some more micro details regarding token and airdrop and participating networks, in addition to SPOs being able to participate and produce blocks for Midnight. So really good, guys. I'm very excited. So you can see beautiful stuff's happening. And so clowns like Raoul Paul, remember Terra Luna, right? Proof of memory. Like, do not let just bozos in the space veer you off, because this is going to be almost 8 years Cardano in top 15. And there's been countless projects that have exited and they don't even exist anymore. So sometimes good projects may be a little bit boring. Sometimes good projects take a lot of time. And think about how much Bitcoin was FUDed in the beginning, right? So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And there was great optimism, a fantastic video I watched by Charles about the optimism of Cardano. And he's really optimistic on the technology. Moving into governance, handing over that massive treasury to the community, which is going to be huge, especially at all-time high prices. So where are we headed from here and when? We just saw Midnight Network CEO, Q1, I think is going to be 2025, their launch. I still stay with that window, Q1/Q2 2025. And I think that we can easily surpass $3. I don't think we're out of the low just yet. So I see some videos trending of like, hey, can we bounce back? Can we bounce back? The answer is yes, but the bounce back I don't think is going to be like imminent. I think the bounce back that people are yearning for like this is going to kind of almost replicate what we saw in the past cycle, kind of those cold months for a variety of reasons. And but I'm watching again, Bitcoin dominance is very high. Google search of Bitcoin is very low. And everything else is pointed to projects deploying in Q1. Now, it's not just Cardano. Let's take a moment and think about it. Base network, right? They say no token, but you probably know a token probably will come in Q1, Q2. Monad, other networks, right? They're all kind of planning for that. Like Q4 would be like super early for them. So I think of many of these projects, L1s and L2s, are going to be launching in Q1/Q2. So I think wintertime, guys, 2025 is going to be a hot time. We also see that with infrastructure here in Canada, releasing of a new roller coaster, all this building that they're doing, city planning, tons of stuff is pushing so much 2025. So I think 2025 is going to be one of a roaring moment, a super market where we're going to see so many things pump. Stocks, commodity, crypto, and it's going to take everything very high. But as you know, what goes up must come down. So that's a conversation for as we get closer to that. In the meantime, guys, I hope you enjoyed this alpha from Midnight Network, the CEO. Great video by Big Pay. Let me know what you guys think about the FUD that circulates. Is it best left ignored? Is it good to sometimes stand up to it and call it out? What do you guys think about Raoul Paul? Anything positive, any good, any bad to take away from that? So guys, we're almost at 5K subs. Appreciate the support. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next Angry Crypto Show.